Hi guys, welcome back. This is episode number 53 of Matt Chat, featuring part 3 of my interview with John Romero. This week we look at what is perhaps the most important and influential computer game of the 1990s. Id Software's Doom. To try to travel back with me for a moment to December 10th, 1993. Now, if you were a computer gamer then, you had probably heard of this game called Wolfenstein 3D, and perhaps played it and seen just the marvel of the technology, a new kind of game, a first-person shooter. I mean, this was unlike anything you'd played before. And now the same company has been hyping this new game for about a year now, and the anticipation has built to the absolute boiling point. People can't wait to get their hands on this. There's probably a lot of maybe a cynical streak in you that says, this game can't possibly be as good as they have made it out to be. Then you download this thing and you play it, and you are blown away. Most amazing game you've ever seen in your life, and you got it for free. Now that is an amazing story. So of course it was my greatest pleasure to talk to one of its developers, John Romero, who, as you'll see in this interview, really played a key role in making Doom great. And I don't think you can exaggerate his role in this. Clearly, to me, what Doom is so much more than just the technology and the engine and so forth. It's really a fusion of elements that have come together into something that's truly remarkable. Sublime even. I mean, this is the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album. This is the equivalent of that in the gaming sphere. I mean, an incredible achievement. And here to talk to us about it, of course, is John Romero himself. So without further ado, here's Mr. Romero.
That feeling in Wolfenstein was what I wanted to get out of a game. I was like, that's what we're talking about right there, and we need to do it better. So Wolfenstein was the redefinition, like, this is what it is. It was not the happy fun play game, like the happy fun Mario clone type company. It was meant for something else. And so when we found it with Wolfenstein, we decided to perfect it with Doom. And the thing about Doom was, in January of '93, when we started working on it, we put a press release out saying everything that was going to be in the game. We told everybody, this is Doom, and it'll be out at the end of the year. And we put down on a press release everything that we're going to do, and we hadn't done any of it yet. And it's all groundbreaking, everything. Everything was groundbreaking, but we knew that we could do it. It was almost like it was going to happen, and we were going to do it. And it was like predetermined almost. We did have challenges during the game with, first of all, the engine being fast enough. And the engine, actually, when Carmack started writing the engine, it was fast enough, because our level design at the very beginning, mainly with Tom, because I was writing the tool to make the levels, and Tom was the one making levels, but he wasn't really inspired. Tom was already not happy because Tom is not a kill kind of guy. Tom is keen, right? And Tom is not Doom or Wolfenstein. So he was not inspired already. And while we were making the game, and Tom was making his levels, first he was making them like Wolfenstein levels, but it had diminished lighting built into the engine, so it did get kind of darker and everything. But it was the same floor and ceiling height in square walls, and it was mainly done that way because the story that we'd come up with was basically are in military bases, and this is what hallways and rooms look like. They're right angles, and so the level design just wasn't really inspired, and it felt like we were still in Wolfenstein, but it looked better. Like the lighting looked cooler, and the textures that we had were cooler because it was not going to be Adrian had gone from the primary colors of Wolfenstein into Doom with like, I'm going to completely redo the way that I do textures. I'm getting away from the clean look with Wolfenstein, and I'm going to make a dirty look with Doom. The whole, because it was like, this is a space base, and we basically said, you know what, Adrian, Star Wars was a really successful movie, and one of the really key things about Star Wars was it looked used. It was space that had been used. It wasn't clean and shiny. So we need our base to reflect Star Wars's used feel that Lucas had come up with. Like, that was really important to the believability of the space. So that's what Adrian did. He's like, I'm going to make a used looking space station, slime and dirt and all that kind of stuff. So that was really important to get that part down. And so I decided I'd gotten the level editor to a point where I could start using it for making levels, So I basically said, okay, I'm going to try and work on this and straighten out this level thing. I want to solve this problem. It needs to have a look that doesn't look like Wolfenstein. Like, every game that we make can't look like the previous game. So I really started playing around with making really, really high areas, and then putting like balconies up inside the walls, kind of recessed in the walls, and so I made a room that ended up being in E1M2. When I made that room, I basically got Kevin and Adrian, because of the art guys and stuff, and I said, whoa, dudes, come in here and check this out. I think this looks pretty cool. And I had played around with stairs and stuff leading up to that room, so I was like making some stairs and changing light values and making some recessed stuff, and then I was like trying to demonstrate the contrast of experience while you go from a closed-in area that they had seen before with a Wolfenstein feel, going down a hallway, and then all of a sudden you're going up some stairs, and that was different. Whoa, stairs. 8-pixel high stairs. And so we go up these stairs, and all of a sudden, the room opens up into this huge thing. And so, like, I come up the stairs, and they're used to that feel of the ceiling and stuff. And I come up into the room, and they're like, whoa. And I'm like, that's what we're talking about, This could not be made in Wolfenstein, and it looks really cool. And so they saw it, and they got it immediately, and then I knew, yes, that's what I'm looking for, that reaction. We were doing all of these new things with the AI and sound and stuff that the game just felt unpredictable. It was like a mysterious, unpredictable game that, like, when you made the level and it came alive, it was like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever, The game just very, very different than Wolfenstein, and it was like, it was pretty much, that was the game that I'd always wanted to play. There was always like the holy grail game. Like, if there could be a perfect game out there, it would have this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing. But that game, but Doom was like, it satisfied everything, and you never knew that could exist. It takes a lot of hard work, especially for the core disciplines, to get to the level where you could make something like a Doom or a Quake type game. It takes a lot of years. When we made Doom, we did that in 1993, and I'd been programming at that time for 14 years. And Carmack and Tom was a programmer as well. We'd all been programming for the same amount of time. So when we got together, we were experts, and it was a small team of 4 people that were really good at what they did. It was like the Beatles, and people have compared us to the Beatles, and they're not really far off. With Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, we hope you will enjoy the show.
In every work of genius, we recognize our own rejected thought. That's a quotation from Ralph Waldo Emerson. I don't know about you, but there's just something true about that. I don't know how many people that would have played Doom had the idea, why didn't I think of this? What I could have been on that team, Anyways, a wonderful story. Next week, of course, we have the final chapter in this saga, which will cover Daikatana and a little bit about Quake. So stay tuned. I'll see you guys next week.